Hyperions, which is the third film released by Ben Shapiro's company, The Daily Wire, and it stars Carrie Elwes, Penelope Mitchell, among other cast members, and Hyperions is the second film from The Daily Wire that I am now reviewing. The last one that I reviewed was Run, Hide, Fight, which back then I enjoyed that film. I thought they could have done a lot more in terms of fleshing out the characters, but I did appreciate what they had in it. I just felt like there could have been more. Hyperions is a 90-minute film which lacks so much more than what Run, Hide, Fight lacked. Hyperions, for some reason, The Daily Wire is marketing this as a family-friendly film about superheroes, even though it's rated R for some violent, bloody images. Objectively speaking, that's fact-based. They market it as family-friendly superhero fun, but the film itself, objectively, is rated R for some violent, bloody images. Those are facts. That's not my opinion, those are facts. Now, with Hyperions, my personal viewpoint on it is it's not a good film. I had some entertainment to be had in Run, Hide, Fight. I did want to watch Shut-In. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to. It looked like a good film. The Gina Carano film, I watched the trailer earlier. That looks like a good film by them. Hyperions, though, I was expecting a lot more than what it was. I went in expecting a semi-pseudo superhero film with a plot to it, and what it actually is a non-existent superhero film with very minor, very shortened superhero action scenes and some violent, bloody images where the plot is written as so, just when you could have inserted more of a fleshed out plot, they insert a written dialogue of because family. That was literally the entire film. And the thing about Hyperions, a couple things that Ben Shapiro had to say about the Batman film, which is 2 hours and 47 minutes. He was making fun of the runtime, saying it's 10 bazillion hours and stuff like that. Well, at least the Batman's runtime is justified in its production values. Hyperion's production values are so garbage in its editing, its filmmaking, and for God's sakes, their lighting is atrocious. Their lighting effects are even worse than my video right now. And that's just because I have a lamp right beside me. It's even more dulled out and just brighter, and just the cinematography and the editing and the lighting and the color work, it just, none of it's good. Like I said, the writing for the plot is just, there's kind of a story to it, but there's not really a plot. It's just kind of a dysfunctional family that separated and then got together for bad reasons and then worked things out and then continued in life. That's the plot. And another thing that Ben Shapiro had to say about Marvel, and don't get me wrong, I'm not a Marvel fanboy. 80% of Marvel's films I don't like. Every single Marvel film is essentially the exact same plot. Now, with that being said, Ben Shapiro always makes fun of Marvel for being cotton candy entertainment where they never take any risks. Hate to break it to him, but Hyperions is actually more of cotton candy bullshit. It takes no risks because they need to keep their conservative values of family above all. But there's no risk. Look, you can write and direct a film about family values with an intriguing and very plot-heavy narrative in it. A lot of examples: Creed, Lawless, Four Brothers. Even the anime Naruto is about keeping bonds that were created throughout your lifetime. Hyperions is just so focused on bashing it in your freaking head, family values, that they lose steam in the plot, the direction, the tone and the pace, they're so boring and just so dull. Every single scene in Hyperions, I wanted so much more fleshed out everything. This is not an abysmal film. It's bad, but it's not like an atrocity. There are some okay things about it, like some of the acting is okay at best, but even the visual effects are just okay at best. I don't really have anything bad to say about the visual effects per se, but you can tell that they were on a more limited budget than what you get from like Hollywood, and that's understandable. But there isn't really anything redeeming about Hyperions. I love Cary Elwes just because of the first Saw and the Saw franchise. That's really all I know him from. In Hyperions, he's really the standout because he's an actual legitimate actor. He knows how to act, and even he does an okay job at best. But Hyperions, to me, is just so focused on the whole core element of family values. It loses steam in story, the writing, just everything is just so bare bones because of the whole conservative value behind it of family. Family above all. And like I said, with the examples, you're able to tell a story about and centered around a family with an intriguing and entertaining plot around it. Unfortunately, Hyperion's plot and story is just mundane. It's also been done so many times. A family that separates from each other, and then they reunite in bad terms, and they come together, and they resolve conflicts and problems. It's cliche. It's predictable. It's rated R for some violent bloody images. I don't really see why this was rated R, but at the same time, I don't really understand why all of their members in association with the Daily Wire are boasting this as a family-friendly superhero film when it's clearly rated R, even though it doesn't need to be rated R. It's all confusing. I feel like this film makes itself think that it's complex and complicated. It's not. It's not. Like, every other line is literally, we're a family, and just something having to do with being a family. And they have some character development in this film, like some flashbacks. Like, they have an intriguing and good intro setup for the rest of the film. Unfortunately, the rest of the film after the intro is garbage compared to the intro. Then the outro is actually a good outro caper to the whole film. It's kind of on par with the intro, but everything in between the intro and the outro is pretty garbage. Again, have to preface again and say that this is not the worst film I've ever watched, but it's so bare bones, and it just wants to just throw in your face their beliefs in family values, that they just get lost on the concept of actually writing a plot and an intriguing, entertaining story within that. So for me, Hyperions is a 4 out of 10. Thank you.